I'm going on a vacation and I am so excited about it. But the thing is, at this very moment, I'm not technically going anywhere. I'm just not going to be working in my business for 30 days. And today I want to talk to you all about how I plan for a 30-day vacation and why in the world do I do it. Welcome back to another episode of the Keenya Kelly podcast. I am so excited that you are here and you're listening to this while your girl is on vacation. Now, at the time of me recording this, I do not have a trip planned. I don't have plans to go anywhere. Right. I have been toying with the idea of going to London. I've been going back and forth and back and forth. But as of this very moment, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm not planning on going anywhere. But I want to talk to you about what I do, why I do it, but more importantly, how I plan for a 30-day vacation. First, it's just really important to know that, a couple years ago, I was listening to a podcast, Rachel Hollis, whether you love Rachel Hollis or not, I was listening to her podcast. And she was talking about how she takes, I think it's 3 weeks off or something like that. And she gives her team off during the time of December. And it makes sense to me when I heard it because it's the holidays, people can spend time with their families and all that type of stuff. But at the time, I had never done something like that before, maybe a couple of days off or a week off as an entrepreneur, but it was I've got to keep on it, whatever. And I just felt like God was talking to me about learning to allow him to be my provider and not me, I have to work in order to make money. Now, granted, I was not used to that, but I was just let me just try this. The worst thing that can happen is during this quote unquote vacation, I need to go back to work. And so 3 years ago, I tried it and I was watching more sales come in while I wasn't doing anything. And I was like, this is really interesting. So I did it again last year, but I did it for the whole month of December. I actually went to Mexico for 2.5 weeks, had a great time. Now, granted, I did not know any Spanish. So I was screwed a little bit, to be honest with you, but I was glad that I did it. And so this year I said, okay, we're going to do the same thing again. Except this time I don't really have a trip planned because I just hadn't planned it yet, but I'm just definitely not going to be doing anything. And so, but I want to talk about how I plan for that. So here is how I look at things. I go, okay, first of all, our team haven't been with me a very long time. The longest person on my team has been our website tech person. And then the second person is my assistant. Now, this will be her very first time of me being gone for a long period of time. So, because I know that the last thing I want to do is stress her out or the whole entire team out. So I'm I have to prepare this. So one of the first things that I do is I ask myself, what are their regular duties they do every single day, even when I'm working? And what is it that I, as the owner or content creator, have to give them in order for them to be able to do their jobs? And one of the things is I had to have all of my podcast episodes written out. I had to have all of my podcast episodes recorded, the video podcast and the audio podcast, for the month of December and then for the month of January. That way in December, when they're editing things for December and editing things for January, one, so they can have something to do during that time, but also so I'm not scrambling when I come back and not making them scramble to come back for the things that we need to get done for January. So in addition to that, with the podcast, episodes, there is graphics. So then once I have the episodes this is what we're doing, then now the graphics person knows, okay, here's all the graphic images that I have to create for all of these particular things. But then it is I had to foresee, we open up the doors to my course called Monetize the Talk. It's a mastermind type of course. We open up the doors to that in late February. And I said, well, all the different things that we need for that, they can be working on in the month of, December. All the graphics, all the updates for the website, they can be working on writing emails, just all the different things that go along with, launching a product or service is what they could be doing in January. So what I had to do is before November, I had to make sure that we were already putting systems and processes in place, having everything kind of put in ClickUp of here's all the things that have to be done. Having here is all the graphics that we always have for all, listen, it's a lot. Just the sheet for graphics for during a launch, I'm sure she is is like, oh my God. But I made sure that we had these systems and processes of like, every time we launch a product, we have to have all of these things over here. So then when I went to my assistant and said, okay, for the month of December, you guys are going to focus really heavily on getting everything ready for the launch. She wasn't asking me, well, what do we need for the launch? She already knows because I already had made sure that we had a process of here's everything that needs to be in place for a launch. So then I said, okay, you guys are going to focus on that. So for me, it was really more so about like giving them the things that they need to do on a regular basis that they already do when I'm present, making sure that like, of course, our YouTube videos go out, our podcasts and stuff go out by giving them all of those types of things. But also just more importantly, like really foreseeing where is the business going? What are we doing, January, February, March, April in 2023? And instead of my team working on that stuff in January, they can work on all that stuff in December. What that looked like on my end, it has been extremely busy, like just very, very, very busy on my end because I have to be the one that records the podcast, records the YouTube videos, develops the plan. You know what I mean? Like working with my assistant, like giving her opportunities to fail and to succeed. There was this one thing where we sent an email out on every Thursday of a review of all the things that have happened that we talked about on social media and all the type of stuff that we feel like our audience could benefit from. And it's called The Review. And so I had to let her this week send a review without my input. I was just like, we're going to let her send it without my review. And I knew that there was potential that it would not look the way that I wanted to look, but I let it go out and it went out. It looked great. There were some errors or whatever, but I said, I didn't even give them feedback on it. I just said, okay, great. And that empowered her of like, okay, I didn't know what I was doing there. And then every Friday, we send a text message to those that subscribe to our text system called the TikTok Trend of the Week. And so I gave her the video of what's the trend of the week without giving her what to put on the page. And I said, now I want you to look at what I normally do every single week. And I want you to take this video and I want you to write what you think I would write for this particular page. So she wrote it and I only gave her 1 or 2 tweaks for that. And that empowered her to go, oh, I'm kind of doing this right. And so then she just did the new trend of the week for this week today. While I'm recording this, we had an episode go out today and I had her, write up whatever was happening there without tweaking it. Right. And now it required a tweak or 2. So I gave her 2 tweaks and I'm just empowering her to like, just make decisions and do things without my input. We have our videographer or a video editor who does long form content and short content. And I have allowed my assistant go like, you're going to approve this moving forward. Like I'm not approving that. If all she's doing is putting captions and all that, you need to look at that. You need to approve it. And again, that just empowered her to where when all this stuff comes across her plate in December, that she feels empowered to do so. The way that, of course, that I prepare for a vacation is knowing what all in the world has to be done before I'm able to go on vacation December 1st. So it's like back in September, I'm going, okay, what all needs to be done like September, October, November in order for me to really be on vacation in December. And so I wrote out this really long list for myself. I mean, it's very, very, very long. And at this very moment where I'm recording this is November the 18th. So I've got 2 weeks to finish this list. And so I have been just chugging along and chugging along and chugging along. When it has been videos I have to record, sometimes I will come in on like a Saturday or Sunday just to record the videos and then I leave because I'm like, nobody's calling, nobody's texting, nothing's happening in Slack. I can record all this stuff uninterrupted. And then when the team comes in on Monday, they've got all of this stuff that I've recorded over the weekend. And so that way during the week, I'm able, because, my team is going to be talking to me, asking me questions. I'm able to be present with them, answering the questions and not necessarily them, quote unquote, interrupting me while I'm creating a video content. It's really important that like, if you're going to take a vacation, that you have to be preparing your team well in advance, like teaching them how to be independent by themselves, letting them make decisions by themselves, empowering them, saying, hey, what do you think about this? How do you think we can enhance this? How can we make this better? And then that way they're constantly going to be giving you feedback on different things. And when I am not there and they have to make decisions, they don't feel deathly afraid about making a decision because I have been empowering them the entire time. If you're going to take a 1-week vacation, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, whatever, you have to really think about like all the things like months in advance, preparing your team for what's going to happen month to in advance, empowering them to make decisions with and without you months in advance, and then having the bulk of different things that they need to do while you're gone, and then having the things set up for like automation, so that way from a business standpoint you're still making money, making sure that your ads person is still running ads, and so that you're still making money, and that you batch recorded content and all that type of stuff. If I don't go anywhere, obviously I'll have my ring light and I can shoot TikTok videos if I want to. But if I am not going to be here, I'm going to travel, then I will go, okay, well, I've been at home for however long, I can batch record 20 or 30 videos and then just hit post on them, while I'm in London or wherever it is that I choose to go once I go on vacation. So that's kind of how I do it. I just think as far ahead as I can in advance, plan it in advance, empowering my team, giving them permission to succeed and fail all at the same time. And then just telling them like, hey, listen, everything's not going to be perfect. And it's okay if mistakes get made, but let's try to make some mistakes right now while I'm here so we can avoid really big mistakes later. Does that make sense? And so if you're going to do this, I want you to think as far in advance as you can, prepare your team and set things up in automation, especially ads, so that way you can still make money while you are on vacation. So that's how we do it. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If I go to London, then I'll probably shoot some different things while I'm in London. My intention is, I said, if I'm gonna go to London, then I'm like, I want to go meet me a European man. I'm not going to do nothing, but I'm like, I may be swiping right while I'm in London. So I'll let you know on another episode if I choose to go to London. To listen to the Keenya Kelly podcast, just visit any podcast player out there, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. We are everywhere.